screen visible? Okay, ma'am. Thank you. Okay, a very good evening to one and all. Okay. So today we are going to see the session on the topic dynamic host configuration protocol. So by short we call this as DHCP, Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol. So actually this DHCP protocol, it's a application layer protocol. So we can use this protocol. This protocol can be used in the application layer. So what is the main purpose of using this DHCP protocol is that it allows mission on the network for example called client mission. Okay, so it allows the client mission to get an IP address and other configuration information or parameters. We can call that as a parameters, configuration parameters from the server. So that is the main purpose of using the DHCP. Okay, so the client mission will be using the DHCP to get the IP address and the configuration information from the server. Okay. So the objective of the session is to make you know about the concepts behind the dynamic host configuration protocol, and the outcome of the session, the students may be able to understand the concepts behind DHCP. Okay. And these were the outlines of today's session. So let's start with the introduction part, then moving with the objectives of DHCP, then what are the characteristics of DHCP and advantages of DHCP, and the terminologies involved in DHCP, and how the DHCP protocol works. We'll be seeing stepwise, okay, and the next thing, the software elements needed for the working of the DHCP and the DHCP terminologies, and we'll be seeing what are the stages of the states and procedures of DHCP. Then we'll be seeing the security related with the DHCP and advantages and disadvantages. So these were the topics we are going to see in today's session. Okay. Coming on to the introduction part, this protocol DHCP, Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol, was created by IETF. So IETF is Internet Engineering Task Force. So this was a group which creates this DHCP. Okay, and moreover, this DHCP protocol runs over the UDP, User Datagram Protocol, which is the network layer protocol. Sorry, transport layer protocol. Okay. And what are the ports used for using this protocol means the client will be using the port number 68 and the server will be using the port number 67. Okay. So the DHCP client will be using the port number 68 and DHCP server will be using the port number 67. So usually this protocol is also using the client server model. And coming on to the DHCP is an extension of bootp, that is bootstrap. We call that as a bootstrap protocol. So bootstrap protocol, by short, we call that BOOTP. Okay. So bootstrap protocol is the protocol used for simply interaction between the client and the server. Okay. So this DHCP will be using the capabilities of the bootstrap protocol. So bootstrap protocol means it's a computer networking protocol which is used in IP networks, Internet Protocol network, to automatically assign the IP address to the network devices from the configuration server. That is, so with the help of the So let me continue here. Okay. Bootstrap protocol is protocol used in the IP networks that will automatically assign the IP address to the networking devices from the server, configuration server. So that is the functionality of the Bootstrap protocol. So coming on to the DHCP, so this protocol, it supports the dynamic configuration of the IP address. Okay. So this DHCP will automatically assign and obtain the IP address from the computer connected to the internet and also have some additional features. So let me compare Bootstrap protocol with that of a DHCP. So Bootstrap protocol is the main difference between these two protocols is that Bootstrap protocol will support the static configuration of the IP address. Okay. So whereas the DHCP protocol will be supporting dynamic configuration. Okay. So dynamic configuration means that it will automatically assign and obtain the IP address from the computer connected to the internet. Okay. And also Bootstrap protocol does not provide any temporary IP address, whereas DHCP provides temporary IP address to the client machine. Okay. So these are the basic difference between Bootstrap protocol and the DHCP protocol. So Bootstrap protocol will be useful for static addressing, static configuration. Okay. So DHCP is used for the dynamic configuration. Okay. So it stands for Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol, and DHCP is a protocol that automatically provides an IP host, that is client machine, with its IP address and other related configuration information. For example, it may be information about the default gateway's IP address or subnet mask, okay, and DNS service IP address, like that. So these are called as configuration information. So DHCP will be providing the client machine about the IP address of the server as well as the configuration information. So it includes the default gateways, DNS service IP address, subnet mask. So like this, it will give the information to the client machine so that it can go on with the internet connection. The client can access the internet connection with the help of the DHCP protocol. Okay. So as we have seen, this DHCP protocol works on the protocol UDP with a port number 67 and 68. So 67 is used for server connection and 68 is used for client connection. Okay. So coming on to the objective of DHCP, DHCP is temporarily used for binding the IP address and other configuration parameters to the DHCP client. The meaning is that DHCP protocol will provide some information, configuration information to the DHCP client. Okay. And it also provides the client machine with a temporary IP address. Okay. And when we will be using this DHCP protocol is that wherever the situation occurs that when the host moves from one machine to one location to another location, and in that case, that is the host machine is in a moving condition, then we can go for adopting the DHCP protocol. Okay. And it's mainly the objective of DHCP usages, mainly it is used to simplify the installation process and the maintenance of the network computers. That is, if you are using a Wi-Fi, so the DHCP client will be searching for the internet accessibility. In that case, it can go on with using the DHCP protocol to get some information, configuration information from the DHCP server so that it can connect it with the internet. So that is the main objective of DHCP. Okay. So coming on to the characteristics of DHCP, it provides a centralized IP address administration, and it is also it's a backward compatible with the Bootstrap. So it is the DHCP is extending the capabilities of Bootstrap protocol. Okay, so whereas the Bootstrap client software can request with static configuration from the DHCP server. Okay, and DHCP is also providing supports multiple servers, and it provides dynamic assignments of the IP address to the client, the DHCP client machines, and it also allows the static assignment. So Bootstrap protocol will be useful for static configuration or static assignment of the IP address to the client machines, whereas DHCP can allow or provide both the static configuration as well as the dynamic configuration of the IP address. Okay, so the main thing to be noted is that the DHCP won't interact or won't communicate with the DNS. So DNS is the domain name service from which you will be getting IP address to be get connected. So in that case, we are avoiding this DNS. Okay. So we can go for looking at an example of TCP IP network configuration. First, we have to start with the Windows command prompt. Okay, and type the command ipconfig //on. Okay, and hit enter. You will be getting the configuration details or information or configuration parameters like this. So for a Wi-Fi connection, you will be knowing the physical address of the particular machine and IPv4 address. Okay, 10.172. So 10 dot means that it belongs to your class A address. So in the last session, we have dealt with IPv4 and IPv6 and how to go for subnetting and the subnet mask concepts. Okay, fine. So subnet mask is also given here. Okay, and so make a note that lease uptime. What do you mean by lease means? So lease uptime and lease expired. It shows that so for how long you are going to be, the client machine is going to be connected with the internet. Okay, so lease uptime means see here it can see lease uptime is Monday. Okay, and lease expired by Wednesday. So you can go for using the internet connection for 2 days. Okay, so the DHCP server is giving the information that for 2 days temporarily you can access the internet connection. So all these information will be provided to the DHCP client. Okay, fine. It is also given default gateway's IP address, okay, and DHCP server IP address and DNS server's IP address is all given here. Okay. These are all the specific things to be noted. Okay. Right. So how this happened? So how we are getting all these configuration details? So the magic is DHCP, that is Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol. Okay, so this is the protocol which allows the DHCP server to automatically set the TCP IP network configuration for a particular client computer. So the DHCP server is going to provide some configuration information to the DHCP client computer. That's the main thing. So that will be dynamically assigned to the client. So DHCP is providing a dynamic configuration. So consider without the DHCP technology, so an IT guy can would manually set up all these configuration values for any host machine. Okay. So the process of manual setup for a client computer. Manual setup means of giving all the necessary configuration information about the client computer. That is going to be called as static addressing. Okay. So the process of manual setup for a client computer is called a static addressing. Let's see how the DHCP works. Okay, fine. So DHCP is a dynamic way of getting the client. Okay. So the first step. So you can see the first step. The client is going to give the message, that the DHCP discover message, to the DHCP server. That's the first step. Okay. So whenever the client computer boots up, it broadcasts the DHCP discover message. So this DHCP discover message is going to be broadcasted by the DHCP client. Okay. So it doesn't matter that where the client is in. The client may be in any particular location, whether the client may be in airport or at home or in the jungle or in the desert. Okay. So it would send this packet looking for a DHCP server. So the client is sending this DHCP discover message to the DHCP server. So the client doesn't know where the server resides. So it is broadcasting the DHCP discover message. The thing is that it sends this DHCP discover packet looking for a DHCP server. And also the another client which is residing nearby has no idea if there is any DHCP server residing closer or nearby. So therefore the client is going to broadcast the message. Okay. And DHCP discover message or discover packet simply says that, hello, is there any DHCP server is available or not? That is, DHCP client is want to connect to the internet. It is sending or broadcasting this message to the DHCP server. So what is the second step? So the DHCP server will be sending the DHCP offer packet to the client. Okay. So this DHCP offer message is a broadcast UDP packet. It simply replies that I hear you. That is, the server is hearing the client's request, and it is going to provide the leads with the IP address, subnet mask, configuration information to the client. Okay, so that the client can connect to the local network. Okay, and also it can provide the client can go for renewing the lease also after 2 days, like that. Something like messages. Okay, so DHCP offer is replied by the DHCP server. Okay. So after receiving this DHCP offer by the client, the client is sending the DHCP request to the DHCP server. Okay. It says that the client is saying that the client is accepting all the DHCP IP connection information or configuration information and the lease term. So what is the lease term? Lease is that is the server is providing 2 days temporary IP addressing. Temporary addressing is provided to the client to get on connected with the internet. Okay. So that is the lease term. Okay. So all these the client is accepting that. Okay. Now the server is sending DHCP acknowledgement ACK to the client. Okay, let's do all these in a perfect manner. Okay. So coming to this, DHCP is a dynamic way of giving the client computer network connection credentials, so that the communication between the DHCP server and the DHCP client are broadcasted. The client will be using the port number 58 and the server will be using the port number 67. if you are a Windows user, you can go access your command prompt and type ipconfig/release. Okay? So if you are going to type this command, ipconfig/release means, then you can go on proceed with the reload or refresh in your browser to see what happened. Okay, so then there won't be interconnection. So ipconfig/release means that is you are getting out of the internet connection. If it is the case, if you are typing ipconfig/renew, so renew means you are renewing the lease term. That is, so the server is providing, in case the server is providing 2 days lease to use the internet connection to the client information, then the client can go for renewing the lease term. So for some more days to use the internet connection. So after giving this command renew and hit enter, then reload or refresh your browser, you will see the internet is back to you. The client can access the internet connection. Okay, so the point to insist is ipconfig/release simply terminates your lease term, and ipconfig/renew would bring back to the lease term. Okay, that is bring back your internet connection. So far we have seen how the DHCP works, okay, by sending the proper messages between the client and the server. Now let's see what is the terminology involved in it. Okay? And coming on to the scope term, it refers that the range of IP addresses that are available to the DHCP client by the DHCP service. Okay? That is the scope of the IP address that you can use up to. It depends upon the lease condition which is provided by the DHCP server. Okay, fine. What is meant by lease? So lease means how long, the length of the time, how long the client can use the IP address configuration which is supplied by the DHCP server. That is, how long the client can access the internet accessibility or internet connection which is provided by the configuration information provided by the DHCP server. That is called as lease. Okay? And what is meant by reservation? So reservation means it's a specific IP address, reserved IP address. So a specific IP address within the scope that is permanently assigned against the MAC address, physical address. Okay? And exclusion range means exclusion will ensure that the specified IP address will not be offered to the particular client by the DHCP server. That means the DHCP server won't allow the DHCP client to use any specific IP address, specified IP address. That is called as exclusion. You are excluding, the server is excluding that particular IP address from the usage of the DHCP client. Okay. So as we have seen how the DHCP client and the DHCP server work, so we have seen some messages transmitted from client to server. So these messages, what is the use of those messages, we can see. So DHCP discover. So this is the first message sent by the client or broadcasted by the client to the DHCP server. So it means that the client will broadcast this message to locate where the DHCP server is residing or to find the location of the DHCP server. For that purpose, the client is going to broadcast this DHCP discover message. Okay. So coming on to DHCP offer message, so this message will be sent by the server. Okay. So server to client in response to the DHCP discover. So the client will be sending DHCP discover to the server. In reply or in response, the server will be sending this DHCP offer to the client. That is, the server is saying that it can provide information to the client, or it can offer, or it can provide the configuration parameter to the client. Okay? And DHCP request will be, this message will be sent by the client to the server. Okay? So requesting that offered parameters from one server. It is requesting some going to access the parameters, configuration parameters from the server. Okay? And implicitly declining the offers from all other servers. If the client is connected with one server, then it is declining the offers from the all other servers. Okay, and DHCP acknowledgement. So this is the message which will be sent from server to client with the configuration parameters. The server will be sending the configuration parameters to the DHCP client. Okay, and what is meant by DHCP NAK? So this is also a message sent from server to client indicating that client's notion of the network address is incorrect. That is, the client's address is incorrect. Okay? So client's network address is incorrect. For that, the server will be sending to the client DHCP NAK. Coming on to the next message, DHCP decline. So this decline will be sent by the client to the server indicating that network address is already in use. Okay? And the next DHCP release. So this will also be sent by the client to the server for the purpose of leasing the network address and cancelling the lease also. That is, the client want to get out of the internet connection means it will send the DHCP release message to the server. Okay? So these are the terminologies of the DHCP message which will be sent between the client and the server. So next thing is backup and so for backup we have to use a command that is net sh DHCP service backup, and for restore purpose you have to use the command net sh DHCP service restore. Okay. So by default the Windows server will automatically goes for backupping of the DHCP database, and it fills database fills and registry configuration will be for every 60 minutes. It will take the backup for every 60 minutes. And as already we have seen, D stands for discover and O stands for offer and R stands for request and A stands for acknowledgement. So these are the messages sent between the DHCP client and DHCP server. So in the previous slide we have seen how the DHCP works. So client will be sending the discovery message, and server will be sending the offer, and the client is requesting for the configuration information, and server is providing all the configuration information to the client. Okay? So the next thing is what are the software elements involved in DHCP. So the client software is there and server software is there. So we are calling that DHCP client and DHCP server. So at the client's machine, DHCP should be installed, and at the server machine, DHCP should be installed. Okay, and this client DHCP will be handling the broadcast requesting. Okay? And this DHCP client is useful for automatic acquisition. Acquisition means getting the automatic IP address, and acquiring means getting the all other configurations. So the client will do all these automatic IP addressing and getting the configuration information from the DHCP server. And what about this DHCP server will do means it will respond to the client request for the IP address, and also it manages the pool of IP addresses and the related configurations. So DHCP server will be containing the DHCP database, so from which the IP address pool IP address will be collected like a pool. So pool means the collection of IP address will be residing in the DHCP server. Okay. So it will be providing the IP address dynamically to the client. Okay. And what is meant by relay agent software? So relay agent software means DHCP client will be broadcasting the request on the local network, and as well as the routers block the messages to the outer network, which means that the responses from the DHCP servers must come from the same network. So the router will be doing that, blocking the broadcast message. So in between the client machine and the router, there will be a relay agent software. It will block the broadcast message. Okay. And DHCP relay agents intercept the IP address request. And it will also, this relay agent software will also go for repackaging the request messages and also rebroadcasting the messages as unicast message to the DHCP servers. Okay. So DHCP client will be broadcasting the message, whereas this relay agent software will go for repackaging the request as well as rebroadcasting the messages. So rebroadcasting them means as a unicast message. It will send a unicast message to the DHCP server with the known address of the other networks. Okay. And the DHCP server will send reply to this relay agent, which in turn it forwards to the client. So the relay agent software will be kept in between the DHCP client and the DHCP server. Okay. So the relay agent software, what it will do means, it will go on rebroadcast the addresses. It will intercept the IP address request, or it go for repackages the request. Okay. So here you can clearly see what is the functionality of DHCP client is here, and relay agent is here, and DHCP server is here. Okay. So the client will be sending the DHCP discover message to the DHCP server. That message will be a broadcast request. Okay. So what this relay agent will do, it will go for rebroadcasting the messages. So next thing, DHCP databases. So usually the server will be maintaining, DHCP server will be maintaining two types of databases. So one database will be acquiring the IP address manually, and it will bind the permanently to the hardware address similar to that of the bootstrap. Okay. So that is manually means it is all about the static address. So that is done by the bootstrap protocol. Okay. So what is the use of bootstrap protocol means? It will get the IP address. It is manually the IP address will be given to the server. Given to the client from the server. That is the use of the bootstrap protocol. Okay. So one database will maintain, or it will give the IP address manually. The other database will contain one or more blocks of the IP address. That is, the other database will be having some collection pool of IP addresses. That is address pools. Okay, that will be dynamically assigned to the client based on the request or based on the demands arised by the client. First come first based. Okay. So when no host is no longer they are in need of IP address means the server will be releasing, or the client will be get released and returned back. Okay. So DHCP leases. What I mean the lease, as we have already come over the terminology lease. How long the internet connection is provided to the client. For example, it can be the lease time can be 2 days or 1 week, like that. So the server will be providing the lease term to the client. Okay. So the DHCP issue a lease for a dynamic IP address. So how long the IP address can be used? That is called the lease. Okay. And it will, after the 2 days, if suppose the server is giving 2 days lease time for the client, then after the 2 days, it got the internet connection expired, okay, at the end of the lease time. So then again the client can go for renewing the lease term. Okay. Okay. So there are 3 types of address lease for there. First one is manual lease, automatic lease, and dynamic lease. So what does mean by a manual lease means? The network administrator or the network manager will manually assign the IP addresses. That is called as manual lease. Okay. And what about automatic lease means? The DHCP server will permanently assign the specific IP address and dynamically assigns the rest. Okay. And what about dynamic lease means? The DHCP server dynamically assigns the IP address for a specific period. For example, 2 days or 3 days, like that. When the permanent address is not required for this. Okay. So these are the 3 types of address leases: manual lease, automatic lease. What is the last one? Dynamic lease. Okay. Coming on to the message format of DHCP. So this format is based on the format of there is bootstrap protocol messages. So here you can have OP code means option code, okay, and option codes this field occupies 8 bits, and hardware type it's occupying 8 bits, okay, and hardware address length is 8 bits, and hops is also 8 bits, okay, and the next row, that is transaction identifier, is going to be a 32 bit, and followed by that seconds represented by 2 bytes and flags represented by 2 bytes. All other client IP address, meaning that CIA ADDR, that is client IP address. It includes 4 bytes, and your IP address is including, that is YIADDR, 4 bytes, and server IP address and gateway IP address is represented GIADDR. Okay. So all are occupying 4 bytes. So here client hot address is occupying 16 bytes. Server name, name is server name. It occupies 64 bytes. The next field is file name, occupies 128 bytes. And the last one for the DHCP option, it is the variable length field. Okay. So this is the format of the DHCP message. So as I already mentioned or already seen, that how the client is communicating with the server with the help of the DHCP messages. So let me quickly go through it. The DHCP discover message will be broadcasted by the client machine, stating that I would like to request an address. That is, it is requesting for any IP address from the DHCP server, okay, and the DHCP server will unicast this DHCP offer message to the client. That is, I am the server, so here I can go for offering the IP address to you, okay, and DHCP request message will be broadcasted by the client to the server. That is, I can accept the IP address offer. And DHCP acknowledgement will be the response given by the server to the client. That is, your acceptance is acknowledged. Okay. So here in this picture, you can see the client is requesting for the IP address from the DHCP server, okay, by broadcasting the discover message, okay. The client will be sending the directed IP broadcast with the DHCP discover packet, okay. Server DHCP server, which is on same segment, same segment means it is locating in the same local network, okay, and will pick up this request. The server note down the GIAR field. What is that? Gateway IP address field, which is blank, okay, and therefore the client is the server becomes knowing that the client is on the same segment or same network, local network, okay. And also the server note down the hardware address of the client also. So from the message packet, whatever the client is sending to the discover message, so in the previous slide we have seen what is the format of the message, okay. So from that message format, the server will be knowing of that the client is on or is residing in the same local network based on their gateway IP address. Gateway IP address means if the server is notifying that gateway IP address field is entered or it has some values, means that the client is not on the local network. It will be residing on the remote network. Okay. So since the gateway IP address field is blank, there is no value is there, the server comes to understand or it understands that the client is in the same local network. Okay. So here you can see the client initiation via the DHCP. So here is your client, and nearby so many servers will be there. Okay. So now the client is going to select which server is going to offer that particular network connection. Okay. So the client first will be sending or broadcasting to the nearby servers. Okay. DHCP discover message to the nearby servers. So whichever server receiving that and sending the response, after that the client is going to select the particular server. So this server is not selected and this server is selected. So this is the server which is going to offer the internet connection to the particular client. Okay. You see here. So first the client is broadcasting the DHCP discover message to this server, and it is also broadcasted to the other server also. And the server is also responding with the DHCP offer message to the client. Again, the client is sending the DHCP request to the server, to both the servers. Now, clearly make a note that only this server is sending the acknowledgement and this server is not sending any acknowledgement, stating that the client can go for selecting this server. Okay. So after the lease term is over, the client can go for sending the DHCP